take a look at Capitol Hill this hour. So late yesterday, the U.S. House of Representatives rejected a bid by Republican leaders to block legislative challenges to Trump's tariffs. It's a move that could allow Democrats to undo U.S. tariffs on Canada. I want to bring in CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham now with more. Good morning to you, Eric. So simplify for us, if you will, what do the results of yesterday's vote mean for the future of tariffs?
Well, what it means is that now lawmakers of both sides of the aisle, of both parties, can now actually bring legislation to the floor seeking to repeal Donald Trump's emergency tariffs on Canada. The procedural vote that was brought to the floor yesterday, and to be clear, this was something that was actually orchestrated by the White House, that was put on House Republican leadership to bring this to the floor, basically banning members to actually bring legislation that would repeal Donald Trump's tariffs. So this was brought yesterday, and what we saw were 3 Republicans who actually voted with Democrats to actually oppose this procedural vote. Now what we're seeing here is we're expecting today another vote for legislation that actually goes forward with actually repealing the legislation. Now, this legislation is expected to pass both chambers. However, it is not it won't be veto-proof, which means Donald Trump, when this bill gets to his desk, can actually veto this legislation.
It's still noteworthy, though, Eric, that 3 Republicans sided with Democrats.
That's true. And also, when it gets to the Senate, we know that even more Republicans are going to actually vote to repeal this legislation. And so what this certainly means is that now we are seeing growing opposition from within Donald Trump's own party about these tariffs, specifically as it relates to Canada, that many lawmakers simply believe that these tariffs on Canada are not only economically disastrous for Ottawa, but also for the United States. And what we're seeing now is more and more lawmakers are actually making their voices heard.
All right, I want to ask you about the latest with the Epstein files. Howard Lutnick, he's very familiar to Canadians because of his position as Commerce Secretary. When we talk about tariffs, we've often heard from Lutnick. He was in the hot seat yesterday. Today, though, Pam Bondi will be questioned. She's going to get grilled on the Epstein files as well as a number of other issues. What are you watching for, and what could happen with Lutnick?
Well, you know, that seat, you're right. It was very hot yesterday for Lutnick, having to answer these questions and also walk back some of his statements. But today it's going to get even hotter, because what we're seeing right now is a number of, again, Republicans, MAGA Trump supporters, are now actually saying they want to see more. They want to see more accountability. And we just got a senior Republican senator, Cynthia Lummis, who actually says that now she recognizes how damaging these Epstein files are. And so I think what we're going to see today is a massive, massive grilling from both sides of the aisle of Pam Bondi. And I think what this speaks to is just how this situation is becoming increasingly more politically problematic for the president, and it's only going to get worse if and when the Clintons testify, which is expected to take place later this month.
Right. And Eric, many people comparing what is happening in the UK to what is happening in the US. We have seen some political figures, some politicians resign and get fired as a result of the Epstein files, but so far, nothing in America. All right, Eric, thank you for all of that. Really glad that you could join us. Eric Ham joining us this morning from Washington.